Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve Raiken here. Welcome to this video. And I am here with Steven Summers. And Steven is one of the co-founders of Marketplace Superheroes. He's a seven-figure seller. He's been selling on Amazon and all different marketplaces on Amazon for over 7 years, has done over $12 million. And what's really cool about Steven is he's not just any old Amazon seller. He really specializes in product research and international selling. So if you're selling on Amazon in the US market, you're definitely going to want to watch this video because we're going to go pretty deep into expanding into international markets. He's helped over 3,000 people with his Marketplace Superheroes program. And he's also the founder of Superhero Freight, which is a full service freight company. So really pumped to be chatting with you, Steven. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Very well, Steve. Thank you for that great introduction. I'm really excited about this conversation because I love your channel, first of all. I think you give phenomenal value, and I'm going to do everything in my power to give lots of value, be as transparent as I possibly can, and just share as much as I possibly can on this interview. So I'm really, really excited about rocking and rolling.
Hey, man, I'm ready to rock and roll. So let's just dive right into it. Can you share with people how you got started with Amazon and online business in general?
Definitely, I'd love to. So my story is like a lot of people, I'm sure, who are going to watch this interview, insofar as I was working in a job. I was working for the government. I was actually supposed to make it in music, right? But as you probably guessed, I didn't, because I'm sitting here now. And so I was in this situation where I was working this job in order to basically fund my musician career. And every day I was just data processing, just sitting there typing information into a computer screen. Very not exciting at all. And so every day I'm just searching on Google, like, how do I get out of this situation? How do I start to make some money? What do I have to do that? And so I basically started Googling online things like how to make money online. Like maybe you started to do that, Steve. Maybe other people have done it before. And unfortunately, I just used to find all this kind of, I'm going to say junk, because a lot of it was junk. And a lot of it sounded like a great idea at the time. But then when you start to actually look into it, not easy to do. And really, I had a really bad mindset at the time as well. I believed I couldn't afford anything because I literally couldn't. And I didn't really understand, like, how does a business actually work? I used to think like I had to start a Facebook or a Google or something like that in order to become successful. So here I was, my data processing job, Googling this stuff every day. And so I started to try things out. I tried some affiliate marketing. I tried a lot of these different simple things. But every time I did it, I always came back to the fact that, with affiliate marketing, the stuff that I was exposed to, unfortunately, it was like, make money online by teaching other people how to make money online. And, you can make 90 grand next week, and all you got to do is this simple 2 tricks and all this sort of stuff. And I became really jaded really quickly. And then, and I'm cutting a really long story short, but maybe after 3 years of this kind of thing, in my very early 20s, I kind of had this epiphany, which was like, where is there a business where I don't have to be an expert to make money doing it, that I could be very proud and happy to sell those products to, my family, my friends and stuff like that. And I realized, the simplest way for me to get started in business was selling physical products, because I didn't have to be an expert. I could sell it to everybody. There was no border as such. And I thought, this is a great way to go. And so I got a bit of luck then, Steve, at the time. I met this guy called Raiken to this Northern Ireland. He's this big, crazy Irish guy. He's like a big man mountain. And Rob said to me, look, I'm happy to teach you. Basically, my aunt knew Rob. That's how I got to meet him. And she said, this guy's trying to learn how to sell physical products. Can you help him out? So Rob said, come on up. I'll show you how it works. So for the first time in my life, right, in my early 20s, I always thought online business was a load of crap. For all that time, I had all these beliefs, right? Everything's a scam, blah, da, 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 da. And so here I am in this warehouse, and for the first time in my life, I see real products sitting on the shelves, real things happening, real people moving products around. And I thought to myself, this is what I want to do. This is how I can get started, how I can start to build an income online. So anyway, what I did was I said, can I come and just work here? And so he said, well, yeah, but you have a job and you have to quit that and whatever. So I thought to myself, I'll try and get a year where I can just go and learn this thing, try and start selling some products. And so again, cut a long story short, I quit my job. I moved into my aunt's spare room. Used to look after her dog as well, things like that. And so I just started working in this warehouse and learning, how products work, what types of products sell, how to do fulfillment from a warehouse, a lot of stuff that we don't have to do anymore thanks to Amazon, of course. But this is like 7-8 years ago now or more. And so I'm in a situation where for the first time I'm seeing things happening, as I mentioned. And so I said to Rob, I got to get in here, I got to start doing something. So he said, during the day, work in the warehouse, learn your trade, and then I've got products sitting over here which are old, ones I can't sell brand new. You can start to sell those on eBay and Amazon and start to actually make some income. So that's what I did. And I started to learn about copywriting and selling and all this kind of stuff. So then again, cut a long story short, Robert's business at the time, they were selling a lot of consumer electronics accessories products, like speaker stands and stuff like that. And so what we realized was that market on online marketplaces like Amazon and eBay was becoming really crowded. And so all of a sudden, like Robert's old business went from the situation where it was doing well for a long time to now when I'm learning about stuff with him, it's not doing as well anymore. Back then, he had a lot of staff, he had a lot of warehouses. He was spending, together we were spending like 16 hours a day working in the business, trying to figure out where to go. And so between each other, as I was learning how to do this stuff, and I was applying a lot of the kind of book knowledge I had, used to read a lot of business books, I still do, we created this process whereby we were able to say, hey, we can sell simple physical products, we can sell them globally, and we can utilize Amazon FBA system to do that, which we'll talk about more in this interview. So essentially, just again, cutting that long story short, over the span of about 7 years, did about $12 million in revenue, and we sold products in all different niches, right? Or niches, as my lovely American friends say. And we built this marketplace superheroes thing, but we'll keep talking about the Amazon thing first, because that's more important. That's what you guys want to listen to, and it's what's more important, right?
Wow. So that's super cool. You came from working a job, you didn't know anything about Amazon FBA, and you so happened to just know a guy who was successful, and you came in from the bottom floor, started in the warehouse, learned about the process, and that's amazing. So that's been over about 7 or 8 years now since you've
the time I started with Robert. Yeah, so like it
cool.
really, I would say for about a year after, so about 9 months, and then a year after that, so maybe 2 years or so from the time I started, we started to reinvent that business. As I mentioned, we were selling all these older kind of style products, and so what we realized, Steve, was we can sell products in any niche. It doesn't matter, because we talk about this now. We call it the marketplace model, okay? And all that really means is that we basically look at marketplaces, Amazon being number one. We say to ourselves, where are there opportunities on these marketplaces where we can come in, we can sell a product, and we can make simple additions to the offer, improve the offer, and we can then sell it at a global level. Because before I started working with Robert, Robert only sold in the UK, and he would sell in multiple marketplaces within the UK, so eBay, Amazon, etc. And so the big epiphany we had together, maybe 3 and a bit years after we started working together, was, hey, what if we took these simple products in multiple niches, some are in household, some are in consumer electronics, etc., etc., and how can we then get these same products in front of more people? And so at the time, we were only really selling in the UK, as I mentioned, but we said, let's go to America first. So we went to Amazon.com, we started selling there, did very, very well. Got a lot of traction. It takes a little bit of time. We got some traction, built up the business there. And then we said, why aren't we selling in the European marketplaces? So we just translated our items. We got them onto, Germany, France. At the time, they were the 2 main markets, and started making sales there. And it's like everything, you make 1 sale a day and you get excited. Wow, I sold something in France. We never would have made that sale before had we not listed our product there. And so within a matter of months, we started seeing more and more sales in Europe, more and more sales in America. And all of a sudden, all these marketplaces cumulatively combined to really start scaling the business. So it just allowed us to sell products in any category, and allowed us to just scale so much faster, because we didn't have to rely on one market. We didn't have to rely on one product. We had multiple niches. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's one thing that my channel actually focuses on. And one thing that I teach is, diversifying your income. Even if you're just selling on Amazon or you're just selling on eBay, a lot of people, they just go into one specific market, and, there's so many more markets out there. So that's really cool. So,
Yeah.
Stephen, you've done about $12 million in sales over the last 7, 8 years or so. Let's dive a little bit more into the specific business model. I know you mentioned Amazon FBA. There might be some people watching who don't exactly know what that is. Let's talk about what Amazon FBA is and how that correlates to your specific business model, which is pretty much like private label in a sense. I know you guys do things a little bit different, but why is it different? What's that Amazon FBA? And let's talk about your model a little bit for the people who are watching.
So really with Amazon FBA, I always break it down to what it is, right? And essentially it involves us, the seller, finding a product opportunity on Amazon. We always start there. And it involves us finding a product opportunity where we will fulfill demand. We don't create demand. So we're looking for what are people already buying on Amazon, step one. Then we're saying to ourselves, okay, of these products, like what ones can I sell? And we have this big list of products we can sell. Then we say to ourselves, what ones should we sell, etc. But anyway, get back to Amazon FBA. I'll get into that system in a second, actually. So Amazon FBA just involves, we have a product, we want to sell it on Amazon. We order those products from China or wherever your supplier is. We ship them into Amazon's warehouses. So it can be in the US. Obviously, we have them in Europe as well. And we'll get into Europe. I'll explain Europe. We only have to send it to one warehouse. I'll explain why in just a moment. So we have products in North America. We have products in Europe in Amazon's warehouse that we ship from China. Amazon do not buy them from us. We're just shipping them there. And then we put our products for sale on Amazon. And essentially, all that happens is we get people to our listings through optimizing our listings or Amazon's paid advertising. And essentially, then people buy our product there. Amazon then ship it to that customer all over the world on our behalf. And then simply all we do is we monitor our sales, we reorder our products, we keep in stock. So that's really at a really core level what Amazon FBA is for those of you who don't know. So the common questions like, oh, do you sell products to Amazon? And I kind of covered that. So really then our business model, what are we doing? Well, there's a lot of people out there talking about private labeling products. And all that means is there's a pre-existing product out there. All we're doing is we're creating our own brand. We're putting that brand on the product. We're then selling it on Amazon. So a lot of people are talking about it, as I mentioned, it's a big deal. Now, what makes us different is this. Most people out there are going to tell you that you've got to sell in one niche. You got to sell multiple of this similar products in one niche. And the reason for that is that what we talk about Marketplace Superheroes is there's actually different business models and people are kind of confusing them. So let's just start with the marketplace business model because that's what we're really talking about today. And that is we're on Amazon, we're finding opportunities in Amazon where we can sell products where the competition is not extremely high and we're able to create a differentiation. In other words, we can add to the offer, we can add to the product, we then brand our own unique new offer and then we sell it all across the world on Amazon. So that's the marketplace business model because we're in a marketplace. Now, if you looked at eBay, that would still be the marketplace business model because again, we're taking the product, we're selling it inside a marketplace. The reason a marketplace like Amazon is so powerful is because there are hundreds of millions of customers there every single day looking for products. And we're able to go in, we're able to find what people are buying, et cetera, et cetera. The second business model then is what we call the brand business model, okay? And that really means is you're starting with a brand. I want to build a big brand. So you're not really saying I want to build an Amazon business, you're saying I want to build a brand. So what that means is then you would look at Amazon and marketplaces as a means of distribution, not as, well, that's the business, right? And so a lot of people out there, they're kind of saying things like, well, you want to you want to have your own website and then you don't want to just rely on Amazon and stuff like that. And really what they're saying is you want to be building a bigger brand. Really at Marketplace Superheroes, what we've seen is that, look, a lot of people, they will graduate to the brand. But when you're starting online, one of the most difficult things to do, and I can tell you, I run in different businesses we're involved in, millions of dollars in paid traffic. Paid traffic is very difficult because think about this. The internet is this big place, right? And all different people are looking for different things. So they're searching for different types of products, plastic shoe boxes or whatever. They're looking for them, okay? So what we would have to do if they're looking for plastic shoe boxes and we're building a brand, we have to divert all those people looking for plastic shoe boxes back to our unique brand website. The difference with the marketplace business model is we're saying, what are people buying in that marketplace? Where is the demand there but not well serviced? How can we come in? How can we sell our products there? So really some people would say, well, like if you're not doing your own website and all, is that not crazy? And we say, well, look, when you graduate from the marketplace business model, this is something you can take a look at. I think that's the biggest mistake, Steve, that a lot of people are making out there. And it's a big confusion in the market, you know?
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't realize how much work and effort and challenge you're going to deal with paid traffic, building websites, all the technical stuff. I mean, it is amazing that we're able to utilize, the marketplace such as Amazon, because they're running all the traffic, they're dealing with all the technical stuff, they're running retargeting ads. So
Exactly.
I really like that model in the strategy that you guys utilize. Now, before we dive into, and I know this is the part where people are going to get excited about, we're going to talk about kind of how to get started, how to find your own product. I did want to let people know, for the people who are interested in this business model, selling on Amazon, this opportunity, we are going to be running a webinar. It's actually, you could sign up for it. There's a link in the description, and we go a lot deeper into this. Do you want to tell them about that really quick before we jump on to the next part?
Yeah, sure. No problem, Steve. So yeah, we have a webinar and it's basically going to teach you the whole process behind how to build a marketplace business like this that can produce 5 to 7 figures in revenue. And we'll get in on the webinar and talk about profitability and stuff like that. But how to build a 5 to 7 figure marketplace business globally, selling simple, boring products, right? And we call them simple and boring because that's what we want to be selling. We'll get into that more and more. And I'll get into something called the rule of 5 in just a second as well, because I think that's something everyone will get excited about. So essentially that's what the webinar is about. We go into 3 key pieces in the web class. First of all, we're going to look at what makes up one of these businesses, how to get yourself to almost 20 grand in net profit monthly. So how many products do you need to sell? How many countries do you need to sell in? What happens if only want to sell in one country? We'll break that down for you so you can understand, okay, this is my business model, this is my strategy. The second piece then, we're actually going to break down, well, how do I actually find products? Because it's all well and good, we telling you, here's how you're going to get to wherever you want to be from a net profit standpoint. But then it's like, okay, how do I find the products? What type of products am I looking for? We'll go into that in detail. And then the third piece is just going to be how to put it all together, how to raise capital, and how to actually grow this step by step into something that can replace your income completely. You can start part-time, you can go up to full-time. And really, we're going to break down a lot of the limiting beliefs that you might have right now, like I had when I started. I'm going to show you why this is the simplest, best business model to start with. And then, if you want to graduate on and grow a really big multi-million-dollar brand, you absolutely can do that. But this is the best place to start. And certainly, as Steve mentioned at the top of the call, if you're already selling on Amazon, literally, if all you did was come in, learn how to do this globally, you literally could double your business like that, because you're doubling your traffic, doubling the amount of people you can get in front of. So that's the training, but we can come back to that later on.
Yeah. Awesome. So definitely be sure to check that out in the description. We're having it because we only have about 45 minutes on this call. So we really want to dive into like the nuts and bolts. So trust me, the stuff that you're going to learn at that webinar, it's not going to be anywhere you're going to easily be able to find on YouTube. So be sure to check that out. But let's get into, Steven, how does someone get started and find their first product to private label?
Yeah, great question. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the rule of 5 before we jump in. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of something to maybe break down a limiting belief you might have around how to actually build this up. So the rule of 5 is really how we begin to think about building an income. So what we say is, let's just imagine you've got 5 products, okay? And we're going to sell those 5 products in 5 countries. And before you freak out, don't worry, it's really simple. We explain more of that in the training and stuff. Don't freak out, okay? So 5 products, 5 countries. We're going to make an average of 5 sales a day per product per country at an average net profit of $5. Now, we're not telling you only sell things for $5 net profit or anything like that. This is a simple framework, okay? So within the framework, when you multiply that out over 30 days, that's a net profit of $18,750. So almost 20 grand, right? Everyone at this point is like, what? This is 5 products. How with 5 sales, how is this? And this is what we call market multiplication. So we're just simply taking products, we're multiplying the markets that we can sell them in. And so the big thing about it is you don't need products that sell 100 a day. Everyone's going to tell you that you do. You don't. You want what we call BEST products, boring products, established products, sustainable products, and tangible products. What that means is a boring product, a plastic shoebox. Boring as hell. It's not something that is going to be super sexy. It's not something people are going to be rushing to sell. Number two, it's established, right? These plastic shoeboxes, they've been around a long time. It's not something that's like an iPhone 7 cover, which is long dead, or an iPhone X cover. And whenever you watch this interview, the iPhone God knows what, it's like it's a trended thing. It's gonna die off over time. So we want something that's established for a long time. Sustainable, something that's going to continue to sell. So an iPhone 4 cover is not going to continue to sell for a long time. Plastic shoe boxes are going to continue to sell because they've been around a long time. They're going to be around for a long time. And then tangible, this is just one of our rules. We keep everything within Amazon's TOS, and the best way to do that is by having everything as a tangible product. So a lot of people out there, they started trying to build an email list off of Amazon by basically giving away, a digital free digital thing. So come to our website and pick up the free digital thing. And again, it's something that it's a gray area, but it is falling foul of Amazon's rules and stuff like that. We don't do that. We stay within TOS, and we've been teaching this stuff now for over 3 years. We have never had one person have to change any of the selling strategy because we're just sticking to Amazon's rules. And the reason people break Amazon's rules is because they're chasing this phantom 100 units a day product, right? Now, you will find them. You will find these real winners as you go forward in your career, but we don't start out that way. So that's like the strategy, okay? Now, how do we find them? In simple terms, it's this. Go to Amazon. We start with the best-selling products in a category. So if it's home and kitchen or whatever, we start in there. We look at the top 100. Now, we usually will never sell anything in the top 100. But what we do is we begin there because we're trying to learn about the market. A lot of people are using different pieces of software. Some of them are really good. Some of them are a little bit more questionable. But what they're trying to do is they're just given a tool, some parameters, and they don't really understand a market. Okay, someone's trying to ring my phone. Justin, you can get that. 1 sec there now. I'm in a hotel. These things can happen. Sorry, my assistant has turned it off. He's going to take it off the hook.
It's all good, brother. This is real life.
This is real life. Yeah, absolutely. This is real life. There's my assistant, Justin, was in the background. So anyway, he's not my assistant. Anyway, so where was I? So yeah, so we go to Amazon and we're looking in the top 100. We're not going to find really any opportunities there. We're learning the market. So what we do is then we start to go and look at these products. We click in, we start to see, can I sell it? That's the first question. And the question generally is around, is it hazardous? Is it oversized? Is it too heavy? Et cetera, et cetera. Then the second stage is when we basically go down through the top 100, then we start jumping outside the top 100 of the bestseller rank, okay, in each different category. And then we start to see, well, like some of these products are ones that are, they're deeper and deeper than the BSRs, but we always start with, can I sell them? Because we bought products in the past, Steve, which were like hazardous, and we can't sell the damn thing anymore. We make these silly mistakes. So that's where we start. Then we basically go and we say, okay, well then, should I sell it? So we have this little tool, we call it the 4S product gauntlet, and we'll show you guys more about that on training. And what it does is basically, we put in certain parameters to the things we found. So it asks, how many reviews has it got? It asks, like, is it a big brand? It asks things like, what's the listing like? What are the images like? And we start to get a feel for these products that we're looking at. How good is the competition out there? How good are the listings that we're looking at? And then basically what we do is at this point, we look for what we call the gap. So where in the products we're finding that are selling already, where is there a gap? How can we improve the product? How can we improve the offer? Can we see something that's simple that we can do? The simplest example I give you guys is this, right? Let's say, don't sell light bulbs, but let's say you were selling light bulbs, all right? Or shoebox, we'll take our plastic shoebox. So let's say we see one plastic shoebox is selling, which would be highly unlikely, because that's not how it works anymore. But let's say we did. Well, what we would say is, well, what if we sell a pack of 5? What if we sell a pack of 10? Is that something that we can, that would improve the offer? And yeah, because people are going to buy 10, they're going to buy 5 because they got more one pair of shoes. Okay, so that's just a simple example. And there's other things we do to improve an offer. So in the final stages, then we say, well, then we started with, should I sell it? And then can I sell it? Should I sell it? And then we're now looking at, well, what's the profitability look like? So we're looking at contacting suppliers. We're getting the dimensions of the product back, the weight of the product back, and we're starting to get a sense of the profitability on Amazon. So what we're doing is then we're all along the way, Steve, we've got this big list at the start of potential products, and we're whittling them down all the time. Now, a lot of people look at our research process and say, it looks like it might take a little bit of time. And the answer is, it does take a little bit of time. But you are finding a product. Our products sell for 3 to 8 years. We got products still selling that were found even before I met Robert, to be totally honest with you. Robert actually was selling them before he met me. So if you got to look at it and say, I'm actually finding assets here that I'm going to sell for years. I'm not finding something on a piece of software that everybody else is going to find because that's what they're looking at. And because you got a different business model, you're looking to sell smaller quantities, more countries. You're in this situation where you're selling things that most people aren't even looking at, you know?
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you okay?
Yeah, sorry, a little echo.
No, it's okay. Let me turn. I'm good on my side, by the way, just so you know. But yeah, I mean, and it just makes sense. Like, it's a logical thing to do. It makes complete sense because we're not chasing the 100 sale a day product, right? We're not chasing the big brand. We're building an online income. And what my friend and we've come up with this term. It's called "we're funding our freedom" with simple products. And then, like, think of it this way. Whenever you're looking at any lifestyle goal you have, you should always be breaking it down. So let me give you an exercise you can do right now to start breaking down your lifestyle goal with a simple marketplace business. So let's say you want to make, Steve, give me a figure. What's a figure we want to make part-time or something like that per month?
5,000 a month.
Great, 5K, right? So let's say we want to earn $5,000 a month. Well, we have to remember a couple of things. Number one, anybody who tells you I'm making $5,000 a month when they're doing revenue of $5,000, don't listen to those people. That's not how, number one. And again, Raiken profit. It's called Raiken profit for a reason. We're looking for profit, okay? So then we take our 5K. And what you want to do is you want to say 30% of your sales price is always going to be in around where you want your net profit to be. So let's just say we're doing 15 grand in net profit, or sorry, in sales, we're making almost 5 grand. So let's just say it's 15 grand revenue. We're making our 5K in profit, okay? So 15 grand. So then people get kind of freaked out with that number now. It's like, geez, that sounds like a lot, right? A lot of sales. But what you do is you divide it in 2 ways. Let's just imagine we're going to do North America. We're going to do Europe, okay? Just over time, we're going to do that. So we're going to divide our 15 grand immediately by 2 because we've got 2 continents now, right? So immediately we're down to $7,500 in each continent. Okay, so then what you want to do is you want to take your $7,000 and $7,500 divided down by 30. So you're going to actually see, well, how much revenue do I need to do every single day? So my brain is not working right now, Steve. So do you want to divide 30 into 7,500?
Let me get a calculator. I'll do the math while you keep chatting.
Just to be sure, right? Okay, fine. Because my brain, I'm up here in Northern Ireland, but in meetings all day, I will definitely get it wrong.
So 7,500 divided by 30 is 250.
250, right? Okay. So it's $250 a day in revenue that we're going to have.
That's not bad.
Now imagine then to ourselves, well, an average sales price, let's just say it's $25, okay? So that means then we got to do 10 sales a day to actually get to our goal. And if you're selling, let's just say you're selling 5 products, it's like 2 sales a day of a product. Okay. So then the real question becomes, can I make 2 sales a day of an item? And honestly, like, if you do any research at all, you follow our process, there's no question about it. Like, you're going to find products that do 2 sales a day across each continent. Okay. So I really want you guys to understand that it's just not as difficult as you think it's going to be. And also, like, some people might say things like, oh, well, if you're doing 15 grand in revenue, you're at net profit. And I'm going to say, fair enough. Yeah, you're not going to do that. So let's say you're doing you're going to have to do 20 grand a month, but you get a 5 grand per month income. Like, that's something anyone watching this channel right now, anyone watching this interview, you can do that. Okay. So I want you guys to understand it's not difficult. It's not something that's impossible for you.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Super motivating, because a lot of the trainings I've gone through, and I've gone through quite a few courses, trainings, webinars, a lot of them are teaching to go after those highly competitive products. And the fact is that when you're new, it's just really, really challenging.
Yeah.
to be able to make sales off of those. So this is really cool. Going after the low competitive products. And again, in the training, if you guys join the webinar, links in the description or in the email somewhere, you'll learn a lot more about how you can actually put your hands around it. So let's get into a little bit about some of the members of your training, Marketplace Superheroes, and some of the successes that they've had, because we were chatting a little bit, and I was talking to one of your partners on your team, and we were talking about all the different stories, success stories and testimonials and different cool things like that. So share some cool stories to let people know that this is actually possible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I loved it. So we've got 3,000 students now, right? And we've got hundreds of testimonials. You'll see them all, by the way, in the training. We would just go through loads of them just so you can see like this is something's well tested. But there's a guy like we met. There's a couple of stories I'll share with you. But number one is a guy called Greg. He's from the UK, and he came 2015 to our Northern Ireland event. Okay, we did one in the north, and so this guy he'd already kind of got a little bit started, but he wasn't a really advanced seller. And he just started he came to the meeting, listened to what we had to say. I took a lot of what we said into his own business and went about actually expanding his company. And what I'm going to say before I get into any of these testimonials, by the way, is that actually these people did the work. It's not like I went and did the work for them, okay? So I give them all the credit. They just basically came into our world, went through our processes, applied a lot of it. Didn't apply all of it 100% because no one ever does. We always take little pieces that we go, okay, I'll not do that bit. And then they come back and they go, oh, okay, I really should have done that bit. But in Greg's case, applied a lot of our training. And so what he did last year, it was on the Amazon's, Black Friday, he did $28,000 in revenue in one day, right?
Wow.
Which to me blew my mind, because I'll be honest with you, I don't see very many people doing that kind of revenue one day. Now I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people get really excited by 28 grand in one day. Oh my God, is he doing that every day? No, he's not doing it every day. He's doing an average of maybe 4 or 5 grand a day. But what that one day did for our members, and I think even for ourselves when we saw it, was it's like, guys, this is totally possible. Totally possible, selling simple products, right? So Greg's a really cool guy. We share a lot about him on the call. Also, we got 2 ladies over in Australia, Deborah and Verdi, their daughter and mother. They came that exact same day. Just happened to be there. They hadn't even made a sale on Amazon before, and then on the day of the event, they made their business where they're, it's paying their way. It's something that they've built from nothing up to something that's now funded their freedom. And I mean, we've got other people out there. I just saw one recently. These guys called Peter and Rich. They're from the US actually, and they basically started from nothing a couple months back. And they're on the smaller scale, in their first month, they did, I think, nearly 2 grand in revenue. But they both, one day, the thing they said, and I loved it, they were like, we actually now know this is $1 million business. We know it is, revenue-wise, which they'd be making 300 grand if you take your 30%, right? We know it's $1 million business. We're going to be there in the next probably 18 to 24 months because they're now rapidly expanding their products really, really quickly. But all it took, Steve, was those first few sales to get that belief in themselves of man, I can actually do this now. But also we did something really cool. There's a guy called Peter. We call him the most Irish man alive. He is actually going through a process we call Superhero Live. It's something that we do. Only people who are members of Marketplace Superheroes get to check this out. But basically what we do is we film his progress every single month, and we show the products he's selling and stuff like that. But in his first month, he did $7,500 revenue selling these weird pet products and stuff like that. And he only had 2 products. He didn't have 5 products. Just one of them took off quickly. So I think the point I'm making is we got people from all different scales. People doing multiple 6 figures and 7 figures. Some people doing their first 5-10 grand a month. But the biggest thing, Steve, I'm going to tell everybody watching right now, the only thing that's stopping you from being where those people are, if you imagine a bridge, there's 2 bridges, there's a gap in the middle. The one thing that's stopping you right now, what the world has told you about business. And unfortunately, what modern society thinks about business, it's total BS. If you imagine someone just jumping off a cliff into the unknown, that's what society's going to tell you starting a business is like. And then you're going to hear people, I heard it, people are going to be telling you things like, it's too risky, these guys are online, everyone's a scammer, all this stuff that I heard when I started. And you just got to understand something.
Yeah.
This is happening. It's happening every single day. It's happening to people who've never done it before. But you want to know something? It's only happening for the people who take that action on the material, who implement things. And Steve's laughing now because you know that you know yourself. It's about people who are committed to funding their freedom. And I think that's the key thing.
And that's it. I mean, one thing I was going to add to that as well, which I thought you were getting into, was the key, you've got to take action. Like so many people, they take kind of like, they dabble in it, right? So like they'll watch a few YouTube videos. They'll maybe like watch like 10 minutes of a webinar and they'll like start to dabble in it, but they're not fully committed and immersed in it. Like this is working for people, all different things online. We're not even just talking about Amazon. We're talking about eBay. We're talking about online selling, offline selling, like really any business out there. It can work if you work the plan and you take massive amounts of action. So what I'd like to ask you from your experience, Stephen, and helping over 3,000 people to start businesses. And again, on the webinar, you're going to go more into people's stories and stuff, but what would you say is the key factor that's allowing these people to take action, right? What is the key to, like, because everybody knows they have to take action, they have to believe in themselves, but how do they really get into it? Like, what advice would you give?
I think it's a great question, actually. I think there's a couple of things. I think number one, you got to have massive confidence in the material and the people who are sharing the stuff with you. I think that's really, really important. Whenever I started, I had Robert sitting beside me. I was terrified when I did my first product. It was a cream canvas wardrobe. I talk about it on the web class. I'll show you what it looks like and stuff. And this product, like, it didn't make me any money. I broke even. But you know what it did? It allowed me to understand when I invest my money, I don't lose everything. I used to think, like, when I put money into a product, I'm going to be living on the street. I'm going to have to beg to make money. I don't know what I'm going to do, right? But like, the reality is, when you understand something that you're actually buying an asset that's going to produce income for you, that's when things change. So do you know what the big thing is? It's about getting there and pulling the trigger. So for us, like, I'll be honest with you, we've got different things that we do with our members, but the biggest thing that helps people succeed, in my opinion, is you've got to have a big reason for why you're doing this, and you've got to just be like, I'm going to die for this damn thing. I'm going to get my freedom. I'm going to get my business up and running. You got to be ultra committed to it. And so, John Assaraf used to say something I used to like, and he always used to say, if you're interested, you'll do what's necessary. You'll do what's kind of available. You'll do what you can. But when you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. And so that was what I did, But the great thing for you watching now is, like, you don't have to do what I did. You don't have to work for months and, sacrifice a lot of stuff. Because the truth is, when it comes to an online business, come back to that society thing again, you got to get better influences. So you come into a group like Marketplace Superheroes. We got a community of 3,000 people. We've got tons of coaches and everything. You're in a positive group now. You're with people who are actually supporting what you're doing. They're not telling you it's impossible. They're not telling you it's too risky. So I think it's about getting around influences that are vital. And so for me, what I did when I started was audiobooks, interviews, in my ears all day, every day. I would refuse to even listen to anybody else. So a friend of mine, Mitch Miller, he's a cool guy. He said something that I actually did, and he also did to himself. I actually brainwashed myself in a positive way. I brainwashed myself with positive influences. I would not allow myself to listen to whatever the most people in society were telling me, who just didn't believe in what how to do a business and stuff like that. And I realized, Steve, at the end of the day, if someone says to you, hey, it's not possible, if they've never done it before, how would you listen to them? It doesn't make any sense, So it's about getting around more positive influences. It's about understanding that when you pull the trigger on your first product, your life changes because you understand that it's possible. You understand it doesn't matter if you break even on your first product. You've gotten beyond that biggest barrier, which literally is just pulling the trigger. And I just want all you guys to know, in our community, our coaches, we're there. We're all there to help you get over that, because that's the biggest thing. Once you get over that little bridge, your life will change.
Great advice, man. I love it. I just recently got back from Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. I went with actually one of my buddies he's currently selling on Amazon, and he's on track to hit $1 million this year.
Right.
So it really changed his world, but I could tell you're a student of self-development, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You've gone from, you were working a job 8 years ago. I don't know if you had mentioned how you were doing, but I'm assuming you weren't as doing as well as you are now. And you started this business, you had your mentor.
Yeah.
7, 8 years later, you've done over $12 million. And I'd like to know, besides just the money, how has this like passive lifestyle business of selling on Amazon, private labeling, you're selling on all these different marketplaces, like how has it really changed your life? And from the people who are in your membership group, how has it changed their lives?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So, it was so funny. Like, I mean, it's a long time ago now. I think it would have been at least 4 years ago or something like that. I remember Robert and I, we were running the Amazon business, and we were in a situation where we didn't have a warehouse anymore. We didn't have really any staff anymore other than some VAs and stuff like that. Their business was performing extremely well. We were making a completely passive income. So we literally fired ourselves from our business. And so at that time, we traveled a lot and things like that. But, for me, like, it changed my life because it helped me understand that, you want to know something? The internet, these global businesses that we can create, ultimately can give you whatever you want in life. And so for me at that point, I realized something, Steve. I realized that I didn't just want to be an Amazon seller, and that's all I ever did, because I looked out into the market and we saw all these people, teaching different things and whatever. And it just sort of made us say to ourselves, we want to help people as well. So initially the lifestyle was great because I literally did nothing every day and I did things I enjoyed. And like I said, I traveled. But then honestly, I'm just going to be transparent with everybody watching. Like, my friends were all working. My wife still loves working, so she wanted to work, and I understand that. So I was in a situation where I was literally just like, oh, I have all this freedom
What do I
on my
do?
own. So that's what just started getting me thinking, what else, how else can we help people who are like us, who are sellers like us? So now, as we mentioned at the top of the call, actually, we've been able to use our resources and stuff like that to build things like a freight company to help people save a fortune on their shipments and work with people who aren't going to mess them around. So that's like been one of the things. We've also actually started another company called Maloot.com, which is just getting started, where we're going to be doing all the accounting and stuff like that for people who are online sellers and stuff like that. So really, for me, like, I think the passive income lifestyle helped me realize no limits on what I want to do. Then I think it helped me realize, man, like, I actually want to contribute now back to people. And some people are going to be like, oh, here we go again. Another person saying it's not all about the money, blah, blah, blah. And I used to be like that too. I'd listen to people saying things like that, like Tony Robbins maybe. I'm just like, this guy, he's full of, you know what, right? But, it is true. Like, when you get to a point in business, when you see people, who are struggling with freight or struggling with things like that, or not sure how to do things, getting bad advice, you change. So for you guys watching right now, what's going to happen is, most people, they don't talk about what's going to happen when you're successful. That's why we've actually created, a freight business, an accounting business. These are all things you're going to need when you're successful. And when you go through the process, when you follow the steps and you get your business launched, you're going to have these same issues. So we're there to help, okay? I just wanted to mention that as a side note. But for you listening as well, I look forward to the day whenever you understand that you can fund your freedom with a simple business, and you start to see there's things like, maybe you want to travel. You can do that with this business 100%. Maybe you want to, you're interested in charity work or something like that. You can do that. You can fund that part of your freedom. And I want you to understand as well, a lot of people talk about, it's all about being passionate about what you do. And when it comes to a business like this, you're going to start out thinking, I don't think I could ever be passionate about selling a plastic shoebox, right? But what happens is you get good. First of all, you're not good at it at all. You have no idea. Then you learn. You learn skills that are going to actually help you for the rest of your life. Then you start to get good at something. Then you become pretty passionate about it. You actually enjoy it. You're passionate about the results of what this business will do for you. And so then, I look forward to people just come back to me and saying, hey, I've started this charity, or hey, I've done this. I'm playing music now just for fun because I don't want to do it as a career anymore. So that's really what I think. It can fund your freedom for sure.
Cool. So let's end things with a call to action, because like we were saying a couple of minutes ago, really the key to success in any business,
Yeah.
including this business, is first of all, getting committed, right? Second of all, making sure that you're listening to somebody who knows what they're doing. But third of all, taking action. So let's give everybody who's listening and watching right now an action step, the next thing that they need to do. And we actually have a free resource, which I've kind of sprinkled in a couple of times, but let's give them a clear cut action step, because that's the key right here. You don't have to be the smartest, brightest. It doesn't matter where you live, how old you are, as long as you're like 18 years old plus, right? It doesn't matter about your past, you know, what your parents said, all these limiting beliefs, people saying if it works or doesn't. Let's give them a clear cut action step right now, Stephen.
Yeah, look, it's really simple, guys. Here's what you do. You go to your browser, you go to RaikenHeroes.com, and then on that page, you're going to see there's a free training to register for. What you do is this. You put the how to one side, how you're going to do all these things, put it to one side. You come on with an open mind, beginner's mind, as they say in Zen. And what you do is you say, I'm going to actually listen. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to actually like sit up and listen. I'm going to put away the phone, all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to take notes. And then more importantly, then when the time is right, you're going to actually start to create momentum. And how you create momentum is really simple. You take one simple step that you know you can complete. So you know you can register for the web class. It's totally free. You know you can sit there. You can watch the web class. You know you can take notes on the web class. You can get some aha moments that I'm sure you've had some even on this interview. But then after that, you can start to realize something. Old habits die hard. What does that mean? It means this, right? So many times I used to go on to web classes. I used to sit there and listen. I'd say it's a great idea. Logically, it makes sense and all of that. But all the programming of the past hit me. I said to myself, I can't do this. Who am I to do this? I'm not able to do it. I'm not somebody who can have a business. I'm not good with numbers. All that kind of BS. Put it to the side and understand something. These resources are out there. They're simple. It's something you can do. It's something that you will do. Go to RaikenHeroes.com, get into the free training. I can't wait to see you on there. I can't wait to help you actually change your life. And understand this is not scary. This is really simple.
Awesome. Super cool. So I want to thank you, Stephen, so much for
Sure.
coming on this video. I know, a lot of people have had success in the program, and I've had quite a couple friends who have gone through it, and I've heard a lot of great things about you. I just recently went to a bunch of different events, and I've heard your name pop up multiple times. And when we connected, it was really awesome. So you guys are in for a treat. Make sure you can either check the link in the description or in the email, or go to RaikenHeroes.com. That's the next step for you guys. There's a lot of really good stuff there. It's completely free. So go over there. Don't worry about step 5, 7, 9, 11, importing and legalities and all this stuff. Just take step number 1, kind of like you guys are already doing, and build that momentum. So Stephen, thank you so much, man. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, all I'm going to say is, see all those things you just talked about? Know this, guys. We have all of this sorted out for you. We've already thought of this stuff for you. A lot of people don't do that. We have, because I know what it's like to be in your position. So also, if ever you want to just, check out something, we got a Fund Your Freedom group on Facebook. It's totally free. You can just jump in there. I do streams and stuff in there often. If you just want to get some free content, feel free to do that. But for now, the only thing you need to do, go to RaikenHeroes.com. See you guys on the training. Steve, I want to thank you for the opportunity for coming on, speaking to your audience. And again, I want to thank you for continuing to put out great content. I love your channel. I watch it all the time, as I'm sure everybody else does. So that's it for me. I look forward to seeing everybody in training.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll see you over on the webinar. Take care, Stephen. Thanks, everybody.